In this lecture, we looked at how modernism evolved as it moved beyond the early phase, and how it changed when filtered through two cultures in particular, the Scandinavian and the American. You know how to begin your study of each style. What is the name of the style? Where did it emerge? When did it emerge? And over what period of time was it most popular? What are the defining characteristics? And why those characteristics? What caused them? What do they mean? What are they expressing about the context or the culture that gave rise to them? In this particular era, you might also ask two other questions. Is there any other stylistic terminology for this style? A key umbrella term of some kind, perhaps? And was there a particular important event that serves as a marker for the emergence of the style? It's very useful in this situation to compare. Start by asking yourself, how is Scandinavian modernism different from the original form of modernism? And how is it the same? Look at the chair and go through the checklist: form, ornament, material, production. Which are the most important in terms of defining this form of modernism and what it means? The context that caused this style to appear is very important. How did the philosophy of the Scandinavians differ from that of the early modernists? What were Alvar Aalto's views about design, and how are they expressed in the characteristics of this chair? These chairs communicate much key information about design and context at this time. What are the most important facts about the form, ornament, materials, and the production of these chairs? And there's something important about the fact that these were made in America. What is meaningful about that? Here are some other questions to help you analyze these chairs. But first, this. The key words post-war era should open doors to many answers for you. What is significant about the style name, organic modernism? What does that mean? How did it develop? What shaped it? Where did it first appear? What is important about these designers? What was their background, and how did they apply that to furniture design? In terms of materials and production, what's noteworthy about them? What are these chairs made of? How were they produced? Who were the intended consumers, and did they play a role in shaping this design aesthetic? What's significant about the color? The same can be said about this image, that it gives us much information about design and context at this time. What are the most important facts about the form, ornament, materials, and production? And what are the important facts about the context? Some of the major components of this aesthetic were developed long ago and far away, as they say. What do I mean by that? And who was the client? And why was that significant? Why were these clients attracted to this style? Production is especially important in this story also. What role did Florence Knoll play in the production of this style in general, and of the design of this room in particular? And what way is Florence Knoll also important to the entire history of the practice of interior design? Geometric modernism, as you know, because you answered the question successfully in the previous image, is closely connected to the original form of modernism, because the Bauhaus masters and their work were a large part of it. So one of the first things to ask about a building by Mies is, what characteristics define this as an expression of modernism? As usual, consider form, ornament, materials, and production. But then to the issue of Farnsworth House itself, which is very important in the history of modernism for two reasons, which I'll review for you. The first is due to its paradoxical nature. It is an elegant, temple-like expression of Mies's most minimal form of minimalism, in his own words, bare-bones architecture. It is also a colossal failure of the modernist dictum of form following function. It is a graceful expression of architecture as a work of art, but more work of art than practical machine for living for its owner. The second derives from the first. Failing as it did, at the moment in time that it did, Farnsworth's house is a symbol of a tipping point in taste, in culture, when the values and lifestyles of a new generation reject the philosophy of modernism. Why did that happen?